at 3 a.m., an orange glow cut through the darkness over Alexander Cole's industrial hemp farm.
She actually did it. Yes, I need the fire department. My field is on fire. It's arson. I know who did it.
By dawn, fire crews had the blaze contained, but the destruction was absolute. Alexander Cole stood at the edge of his charred field, clutching his USDA industrial hemp license like a shield.
This was no accident. She torched it to ruin me.
The fire was deliberate, the work of someone who had spent a year trying to destroy him, and the evidence would soon point in a direction nobody expected. 1 year earlier, a new HOA president started a vendetta that would end in flames.
I will not allow a drug operation in our community.
Melissa Sterling had made it her mission to bring down Alexander Cole, no matter the truth. 1 year earlier, Alexander Cole ran a thriving industrial hemp operation, fully licensed under USDA regulations.
Your crop is testing at 0.2% THC, exactly the legal limit for industrial hemp. I am impressed, Mr. Cole.
I've followed every rule since day one. The license is posted on the fence.
But HOA Chair Melissa Sterling didn't care about licenses or lab results.
A concerned neighbor reported seeing trucks coming and going at all hours. I will not tolerate drug activity in our neighborhood.
She filed a formal complaint with the county zoning department, alleging an unlicensed cannabis grow.
Unlicensed? I have the documentation to prove otherwise. This is pure harassment.
The violation notice arrived on a Saturday morning, threatening fines of $500 a day.
I'll fight every single fine. She'll have to drag me out of the fields.
The legal battle had begun, but Melissa's true motives remained hidden. Within weeks, Melissa took her campaign online, posting on the community Facebook group. The post read, "Drug dealer in our hood. Alexander Cole is running an illegal operation. Report any suspicious activity to the HOA immediately. His license plate is here."
They posted my license plate online. This isn't just harassment, it's dangerous.
Alexander drove to the HOA chair's house, hoping to settle this face-to-face.
Melissa, here's my federal license. I grow hemp, not marijuana. Call off your smear campaign.
A license can be forged. The neighbors are terrified, and I will protect them.
She slammed the door, but the fines kept coming, stacking up on Alexander's kitchen table. Then came the morning. Alexander found his truck sitting on rims in his own driveway. 2 tires slashed, a note under the wiper.
Get out. They want me gone.
The harassment had turned physical, and still, no one understood why Melissa was so relentless. Alexander consulted a local property attorney, hoping for a legal path out of Melissa's crusade. The lawyer was blunt. An HOA fight could drain $30,000 in fees, and there was no guarantee of winning.
So I am supposed to just let them destroy my reputation and my business.
He decided the best defense was evidence. He installed security cameras along the perimeter of his farm.
Every inch of my land will be recorded. If she tries anything, I'll have proof.
Within a week, a certified letter arrived. The official HOA violation fine, with a threat of legal action. The letter read, "Failure to comply will result in a lien placed against your property. The penalty is $60,000.
A lien. They could force me into foreclosure. This isn't just harassment, it's a financial attack.
Night after night, he reviewed the camera feeds, never knowing when Melissa might escalate next. But the worst was still ahead. And Melissa's campaign had only just begun. Melissa called an emergency HOA meeting, packing the room with neighbors she'd spent months rallying against Alexander.
I have a petition signed by 57 homeowners. They demand the county shut down this drug operation immediately.
That's a lie. I hold a federal industrial hemp license. I am not breaking any laws.
A piece of paper doesn't make you innocent. Anyone can forge a license. Real criminals hide behind paperwork.
The crowd murmured in agreement, sighed, glancing at Alexander as if he were a stranger. Melissa called for a vote. With a show of hands, the HOA officially petitioned the county to condemn his farm.
After a year of this, nothing I say matters. She's won over everyone.
That same night, At 2:45 in the morning, a figure in a dark hoodie slipped through the fence line, carrying a gas can. Within minutes, flames erupted along the eastern rows, spreading with shocking speed through the dry hemp. From her bedroom window, Melissa Sterling watched the blaze with a glass of wine. A thin smile on her lips. Firefighters worked through the night, but by dawn the last flames were out, leaving a black wasteland where the crop had stood.
I have security footage. The arsonist is Melissa Sterling. She's been harassing me for a year.
The local detective glanced at the grainy image, then back at Alexander, his expression unreadable. Before the detective could respond, 2 black SUVs pulled up and agents in DEA vests stepped out.
Special Agent Harris, Delaware AA. Fire at an alleged hemp farm puts this under federal jurisdiction. Arson, possible narcotics.
I am fully licensed. Here's my USDA permit. Everything I grow is legal industrial hemp.
A license doesn't clear you of a crime scene. We'll need soil samples, lab analysis. If there's THC residue, we'll find it.
Harris called in a USDA inspector to independently verify the hemp's THC levels, making Alexander's stomach drop.
Now I am a suspect. After everything she did, I am the one they investigate.
The investigation had only just begun, and already the truth was something no one expected. Inspector Chen knelt in the charred soil, collecting samples into sterile vials, while Agent Harris watched.
Those samples go to the lab. If there's THC above the legal limit, Mr. Cole's license won't protect him.
Alexander stood at the field's edge, watching them pack up the evidence that could clear him or bury him. He spent the next 2 days in a haze, barely sleeping, his phone clutched for the lab's call. The report arrived. The soil contained THC at 1.8%, 40 times the legal limit for industrial hemp.
1.8%. That's not possible. My crop never tested above 0.2. Someone planted that residue.
Then, a second analysis from Inspector Chen arrived. The pre-fire hemp sample, 0.2% THC. Legal. The lab noted a synthetic nutrient signature in the high THC soil, a compound used almost exclusively in hidden grow rooms.
Cole, you are cleared. But that residue didn't come from nowhere. Someone nearby is running an illegal operation.
The investigation had just spun in a direction no one expected, and the real hunt was about to begin. Agent Harris ran the synthetic nutrient signature through a DEA database, and the results rang every alarm.
Cytokinin B-4 is a trade-only fertilizer. Illegal growers use it to boost THC yields. It's not something a licensed farmer would touch.
While Harris analyzed the lab data, a call came in from an elderly neighbor who kept a habit of late-night birdwatching.
Pull every traffic camera on that route. If her SUV shows up near the farm, we'll have her timeline.
Within an hour, footage captured a luxury SUV matching Melissa's plates driving directly toward the hemp field, then returning 30 minutes later. Harris ordered a covert surveillance team to sit on the Sterling home. No warrant yet, but the net was drawing tighter.
She torched his farm to destroy evidence, but the chemical trail doesn't burn. It leads right here.
Melissa, oblivious, continued her daily routine of HOA posturing while agents documented every visitor and delivery to her home. The investigation had shifted from local arson to a multi-agency drug probe, and every thread converged on one address. The evidence was mounting, and the next step would be a knock on the door that Melissa Sterling never saw coming. With a narrow court order, Harris obtained Melissa Sterling's financial records from the past 3 years.
Look at these deposits. $37,000 in cash, all under the reporting threshold, and purchases of high-end grow lights, irrigation pumps.
At home, Alexander combed through his own archive, pulling up every post and document from the year-long war. He opened a scanned copy of the HOA anti-drug bylaw, dated 3 years ago, with Melissa's signature at the bottom. The post read, "Say no to drugs. Our community is drug-free." Posted the same week, she ordered grow lights for her basement.
She built a wall of lies to hide her own operation. The anti-drug crusade was nothing but a smokescreen.
The basement renovation permit she pulled 2 years ago matches the timeline for setting up a grow room. We have enough for probable cause.
He attached the financials, the traffic footage, the chemical signature, and the social media posts to a 40-page affidavit. Alexander sent his evidence folder to Harris, the bylaw and the posts now damning proof of premeditated deception. All that remained was a judge's signature. The raid on Melissa Sterling's home was now inevitable. Late that afternoon, a federal judge read through the 40-page affidavit and signed the search warrant without hesitation.
Warrants approved. I want a tactical entry team ready by 0500. She won't know what hit her.
The DEA assembled a raid team at a nearby staging area, reviewing blueprints and assigning entry points.
Cole, don't go anywhere tonight. We're moving in at dawn. If you want to watch, stay in your truck at a distance.
After everything she put me through, I need to see this. I need to see her face when they find it.
He parked 2 blocks down from the Sterling home, engine off, a cup of gas station coffee trembling slightly in his grip.
All units, hold position. Surveillance confirms target is inside. Wait for my signal.
The neighborhood lay quiet, birds beginning to chirp, as armed agents in black moved silently toward the perimeter.
A year of lies, threats, and finally arson. And it all ends here.
Breach team, go on my mark. 3, 2, 1, execute.
Agents flooded from the unmarked cars, black shapes against the gray dawn, their boots silent as they surrounded the house.
There's no turning back now. She's about to learn what real justice feels like.
Inside the window, Melissa Sterling stood in her robe, an empty wine glass forgotten on the sill, her back to the unfolding siege.
Another quiet morning. That fool's field is ash, and the HOA will finally fall in line.
All units, hold on my go. Target is stationary in the master bedroom. Confirm breach positions.
Voices crackled back, calm and professional. The net was drawn.
I should be inside there. I should see her face when the lies all crumble.
This is it. On my mark, go.
The lead agent at the front door heard the command, and the battering ram swung back. For a single breath, the morning hung frozen. Then the ram came forward with unstoppable force. Alexander heard the door crash open from his truck, his grip tightening on the steering wheel. A bookshelf in the hallway swung outward on hidden hinges, exposing a reinforced door with a digital lock. 2 strikes of the ram buckled the door, and a sour, earthy smell flooded the stairwell. Downstairs, purple grow lights blazed over 200 cannabis plants, fed by drip lines and humming AC units.
We hit the jackpot. 200 plants, full operation. Bag and tag every leaf. This is now a trafficking case.
Number. This can't be real. They were supposed to be tearing apart his farm, not my house.
From his truck, Alexander saw Melissa emerge. Wrists cuffed, her magenta blazer disheveled, face a mask of shock.
She called me a drug dealer for a year. Now the whole world will see who the real criminal is.
Agents photographed every plant, every invoice, every bag of nutrient, building a case that would destroy Melissa Sterling's empire. The raid was over, but the fallout was just beginning to gather speed, and for Alexander, vindication had never felt closer.
Do you know who my husband is? He's a county prosecutor. You'll all be fired.
Agent Harris recited the Miranda rights, his voice flat and uninterested. A sedan screeched to the curb, and David Sterling climbed out, his coffee cup tumbling to the pavement.
Melissa? What is all this? What's going on?
It's Alexander Cole. He framed me. You have to stop this.
Your wife is under arrest for a federal drug operation. Step aside, Mr. Sterling.
A drug operation. In my house? I knew nothing. How could she?
She burned my field to cover her tracks, and now her whole world is collapsing. Justice is slow, but it's here.
Within an hour, Melissa Sterling was processed, her mugshot capturing the fury and defeat of a woman who'd lost everything. As the DEA car pulled away, Alexander finally exhaled, his hand resting on the USDA license in his pocket. By noon, breaking news banners flashed across every screen. HOA president arrested in $2 million drug bust. Reporters swarmed the county courthouse, where David Sterling was spotted carrying a box of personal effects out the service exit.
I had no idea what she was doing. I've already contacted my attorney. The divorce papers are filed.
Inside Melissa's home office, agents pulled filing cabinets open, uncovering a leather ledger with meticulous entries. One page read, March, 14 pounds sold, $47 K cash. Cover story. Anti-drug campaign launched. HOA vote in 2 WKs.
She laid out the whole plan here. The anti-drug bylaws were drafted to deflect suspicion. It's all premeditated.
Alexander read the news on his phone, the screen reflecting in his eyes, a single tear escaping before he blinked it back.
It's really over. She didn't just burn my field, she buried herself 3 years ago with her own words.
The evidence room now held every piece of Melissa's double life. Grow lights, cash, ledgers, and the anti-drug bylaw she'd authored. The premeditation was undeniable. And Melissa Sterling's public crusade against drugs now stood as the final nail in her coffin. At a federal courthouse press conference, the U.S. attorney stood beside an evidence board, displaying Melissa Sterling's anti-drug bylaw next to her grow room photos.
The bylaw she authored in 2021 called for immediate eviction of anyone engaged in drug-related activities. She wrote it while running her own 200-plant operation.
The prosecutor called it the most blatant case of premeditated obstruction he'd ever seen.
She used her own HOA rules to shield her illegal business. The irony is so perfect it feels scripted.
Alexander was called to give a formal statement, handing over a flash drive with every threatening post, every public accusation. The drive included the Facebook post captioned "Drug Dealer in Our Hood," now time-stamped and entered as Exhibit 14.
Combined with the ledgers, this proves she deliberately crafted a false narrative against Cole to protect her own operation.
The charges were upgraded to include conspiracy to obstruct justice and premeditated fraud.
This isn't just justice. It's a warning to anyone who thinks they can weaponize an HOA to hide a crime.
The case was now unbreakable, and Melissa Sterling's name became synonymous with the hypocrite who burned down truth. 3 days after the raid, Melissa Sterling was formally indicted on charges of arson, drug trafficking, conspiracy, and tax evasion.
This is a nightmare. They can't prove anything. My lawyer will tear their case apart.
Her husband's divorce petition was expedited, finalized by the end of the week. The HOA board convened an emergency meeting, voting unanimously to retract the anti-drug bylaw and issue a formal apology to Alexander.
An apology. After a year of torment. It's a start, but the field is still ash.
The community sign, once reading "A drug-free community," now bore a graffitied correction, "An honesty-free community."
They'll see. I was protecting my family. This whole thing is a setup.
She still won't admit it. But the evidence doesn't lie. Neither will the jury.
The charred field remained a black scar, but for the first time, Alexander felt the ground would heal. He had already ordered new seeds. The rebuilding would begin within days. Months later, the day of Melissa Sterling's sentencing arrived. The courtroom packed with journalists and neighbors.
My lawyer said taking the deal would reduce my time. 15 years still feels like a lifetime.
The judge read through the charges slowly, each one landing like a hammer on the silent room.
After everything she did, she deserves every single day. But I feel no joy, only exhaustion.
Then the sentence, 15 years in federal prison, followed by 5 years of supervised release, and full restitution to Alexander Cole.
Number. This can't be real, David. Where is he? He was supposed to help.
In the back row, David Sterling slumped forward, his hands covering his face, his career and marriage destroyed. For the first time, Alexander and Melissa locked eyes. Her defiance melted into hollow acceptance. Bailiffs led her away, The sound of her handcuffs clinking echoed in the hushed room. Alexander walked out alone onto the courthouse steps, the weight of the year beginning to lift. As the weeks passed, the charred field slowly began to transform under the hands of workers Alexander had hired with the restitution money.
We're planting hope as much as hemp. Every seed is another step away from her destruction.
Then the first green shoots broke through the black soil, tiny but defiant against the scarred landscape. At his kitchen table, Alexander opened a letter from the USDA, bearing an official commendation for his patience and integrity throughout the investigation.
After everything, the federal government validated what I already knew. I did nothing wrong, and I never wavered.
Inspector Chen visited the farm personally to present the certificate in a quiet ceremony at the rebuilt farm stand.
Your compliance has been exemplary, Mr. Cole. I am sorry for the hardship you endured. You are a model for the industry.
Thank you, Inspector. We followed the rules from day one, and we'll keep farming them for years to come.
The field was green again, row after row of legal industrial hemp stretching toward the hills. For the first time in over a year, Alexander allowed himself to believe the nightmare was truly over. Neighbors who once crossed the street to avoid him now brought casseroles and offered to help in the fields.
A year ago, they signed her petition. Now they're planting seeds next to mine. People can change.
The HOA, under new leadership, voted to rename itself the Meadowbrook Community Alliance, scrapping the anti-drug bylaws entirely. The new board issued a public statement. We were manipulated, but we will do better. A corner of Alexander's land was turned into a community garden, with a hand-painted sign reading Truth and Integrity.
From burned field to shared land, the symbolism isn't lost on anyone.
A large envelope arrived at his farm. A thank you card signed by over 40 neighbors, many who had shunned him before.
40 signatures. Some of them signed Melissa's petition a year ago.
The message read, "We misjudged you, Alexander. Thank you for your patience and your integrity." The community, once poisoned by hypocrisy, was finding its way back to truth. On a warm evening, Alexander sat on his farmhouse porch, a golden retriever lounging at his feet, the hemp field stretching green before him.
I adopted this dog from the shelter, the same week Melissa was sentenced. We both needed a new start.
He picked up a small framed note from the side table, the handwriting familiar and steady. The note read, "Integrity is the best fertilizer."
Dad was right. The fire destroyed the crop, but it never touched the truth. That's what grew back.
He set the frame down gently, his eyes moving to the field as the sun dipped below the trees.
This is what victory looks like. Not revenge, just peace.
The dog lifted its head as Alexander stood, stretched, and stepped off the porch onto the soft earth. He walked into the rows of hemp, the plants brushing his fingertips, the air smelling of life and renewal. The past was behind him. The future was green and waiting. Inside his farmhouse, a folded newspaper lay on the kitchen table, the front page mugshot of Melissa Sterling staring up. He cut out a small square of the newspaper, the image of her orange jumpsuit now a permanent reminder. He pinned the clipping to the corkboard beside his USDA license, then took a marker and wrote on a sticky note. The note read simply, "Case closed." He stepped back, surveying the board that now told the whole story. License, clipping, note, and a timeline of recovery. Then he walked to a shelf and picked up a glass jar of amber oil, the label reading Cole Farms, USDA certified.
This first batch came from the field after the fire. It's cleaner than anything she ever produced.
He placed the jar on the shelf beside his father's framed note, the two anchors of his rebuilt life.
Integrity and hard work. That's the real legacy.
Outside, the night settled over the quiet farm, and inside, one light still burned over a board that told a story of truth surviving fire. A year later, the blackened scar had vanished, replaced by a sea of green that stretched to the horizon. At the rebuilt farm stand, Customers lined up to buy Cole Farms products, their trust fully restored. The community garden bloomed with vegetables, a constant reminder that truth can flourish from the darkest soil. Alexander spent his weekends teaching local kids about sustainable farming, a lesson in science and ethics.
I didn't just survive. I built something better.
He walked the rows every evening, not to check for ash, but to feel the peace he had earned. Melissa Sterling's name was forgotten by most, but Alexander's story became a quiet legend of integrity. And that's the story of a man who proved that honesty and hard work are the best revenge. If this story moved you, hit subscribe. Share it with someone who needs to hear that karma is real. Remember, integrity is the best fertilizer. Keep your receipts and never let anyone burn down your truth.